Hello. Well, first off, I want to thank Marion and Christoph and everybody from MINTiFF for this opportunity to participate and learn a lot from all the other speakers we've had and the panelists, and just this opportunity to share what we do out in Hollywood. I'm here to talk with you about the Science and Entertainment Exchange. It's a program of the National Academy of Sciences, and I first want to start off with heroes and villains. It's an everyday part of our lives. We always think about good guys versus bad guys, and in our stories we have antagonists and protagonists. And it sort of translates into our regular life when we say, oh, Christoph, he's a good guy, or Joe, he's not a good guy, he's a bad guy. So I want to start off with a little slideshow I put together of heroes and villains. Let's see if the sound starts working out. There we go. So this is audience participation, and I'm going to need your guys' help. And you might recognize some of them and you might not. But I need you to help me calling out, is it a hero or is it a villain? First off, Tony Stark. Iron Man 2, a movie that the Science and Entertainment Exchange consulted on. Hero or villain? Hero. MASH. Everybody know this TV show? It was out in America, early, 70s, I guess it would be. Heroes, villains, heroes. Dr. Frankenstein, the epitome of technology gone wrong. Hero or villain? Villain, yes. All right, next up, Sigourney Weaver. We heard a lot about her yesterday from Corinne. Alien, Avatar, hero or villain? Hero. Heroine, yes. Mulder and Scully, X-Files. A great example of a show that did science well and really got people interested. Heroes or villains? Heroes. Dr. No. You guys know Dr. No? James Bond. Hero or villain? Villain. Okay, next up, James Bond. Q. Hero or villain? Hero. Another James Bond. Yes, her name in the movie was actually Christmas. Dr. Christmas Jones. Denise Richards. An example of what we talked about yesterday, Hollywood sort of trying to sex up and make science sexy, but she was a hero, she was a physicist, so we'll give her that. The Inventor, you guys know this movie, Metropolis. Hero or villain? Villain. Indiana Jones, hero or villain? Hero. Archaeologist, Dr. Strangelove. Hero or villain? Villain. Harry Stamper, Armageddon, a movie that many scientists have a lot of criticism about, but when it comes down to it, the science behind what happened in that movie might not have been completely accurate, but him as an engineer, as an oil driller, hero. Matt Hopper, everybody know the movie Jaws? Marine biologist, hero. Dr. Octopus, you guys know Spider-Man, hero or villain? Villain. We're almost there, you gotta bear with me. Oh my goodness. Nutty Professor. Hero, yes, I just played Superman on the Nutty Professor. Granted, some of his science was a little flawed, but in the end, he made the right decision, the moral choice. Dr. Alan Grant, Jurassic Park, hero or villain? Hero. Catherine Willows, this is a shout out to Corinne. Scientist. Hero or villain? We all know she's a heroine. Thank you. Dr. Evil, Mini-Me. Hero or villain? Villain. Dr. Frankenstein, the other one, the funny one. Hero or villain? He's a villain. It's still that bad science. Science gone wrong. I can't leave you on a bad note with a villain, though. So I'm going to bring up one of my favorite scientists in all film and television. Doc Brown. Back to the Future. Yes, he is a hero. All right, so let me get back to I'm just going to leave this up there to plug my Science and Entertainment Exchange. So there's obviously a lot of scientists in film and television, good and bad. But, generally, when we think scientists, we think mad scientists, or at least the American audiences for a long time. that's just automatically in their head. It's a mad scientist. And the question is, why don't we have more positive science figures in film or television? Well, according to strangemag.com, they said developers of the atomic bomb and other such wonders are just too normal. And that's why we get into things like CSI, where Hollywood tries to make things a little more sexy, a little more cooler. Audiences love suspense and they love danger, and so that's why a lot of times we have these evil scientists who are doing bad science, or maybe they're doing good science but using it in a bad way. And so the challenge we have is we need to start glamorizing heroes, hero scientists. I'm here to give you an entertainment perspective on this. Science asks, why can't entertainment make sure there's more accurate depictions of science in film and television? And part of the reason they ask this is because they feel like entertainment is just about the money. Which, yes, making money is important, but I'm here with a message from Hollywood to basically tell you that for us, it's not just about that. We actually do care, and we want to start getting it right, and we're completely on board. And I hope some of the German broadcasters who were yesterday, who participated in the panel, will see this as an inspiration that they can hopefully start breaking those barriers too. Because I got the sense that, in Germany, there's still a process, and you're still trying to break through that, to start showing MINT in a more positive way in your content. In 2005, I began working for Janet and Jerry Zucker, two people who everyone in Hollywood would say are heroes, are good guys. And I learned this very quickly because their story, basically, they produced a movie called Rat Race, and not too long after that, in 2000, their daughter was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which obviously, as many of you know, is a very challenging disease, let alone a disease that an 11-year-old girl needs to deal with. So Janet and Jerry got very involved with stem cell research advocacy, first at the federal level, and then taking years out of their lives, they started working on a campaign. They passed a $3 billion bond initiative in California to support stem cell research. And I realized then I'm working for the good guys. And it made sense for me to introduce them to an old friend of mine, Ralph Cicero, who I had met in college, who was the chancellor of my university, and had just recently become the president of the National Academy of Sciences. So I called Ralph and had him come on out to California, and we developed a relationship that has blossomed into what you now see, the Science and Entertainment Exchange. In 2007, Ralph and one of his colleagues came back out to California seeking help. Science had been under attack in America for a long time, and it was clear to us that we were falling behind the rest of the world, especially young children going into the sciences, and especially young women, as we've heard about recently, yesterday with all the talks about gender. And the problem for them was they didn't know how to get correct science messaging through. The scientists didn't know how to communicate to the general public. But they saw what Janet and Jerry had done with the stem cell battles and the positive messaging they had done and the way they were able to break through and even cross party lines to start reaching out to some of the people on the other side who started understanding the benefits of what stem cell research could do. And so the National Academies and Ralph came to us with a proposal. They needed a strong and influential Hollywood partner to help create a better, more positive science messaging and inspire the rest of the Hollywood community to do the same thing. Ralph picked the right people. And that day we talked about how science is depicted in film. And I already mentioned it. People, general public, when they think scientists, they think mad scientists in a lab coat creating a monster of some sort. And we needed to change that. And it's already starting, obviously, with CSI calling their characters scientists. It's moving in the right direction, but we still need to reach everybody else. Zucker saw what Ralph and the National Academy of Sciences were trying to achieve, and they took that to some of their peers. And they reached out to icons such as Dustin Hoffman, starred movies such as Rain Man, Outbreak. Lawrence Kasdan wrote Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones. Seth MacFarlane, who some of you may know, TV show Family Guy. Do you guys have Family Guy out here? Yeah, so Family Guy. Seth is a self-professed science geek. And anything we ask him to do with the exchange, he'll do. This is a guy who has the most lucrative television deal in history. Millions and millions of dollars. We had a number of other people, Rob Reiner, Jay Roach, Michael Mann. Michael Mann at one point came to an event of ours, stayed till 11 o'clock at night, then showed up at 7 a.m. the next morning to hang out and talk with an evolutionary biologist before he got back on a plane, because he needed to understand the science behind evolutionary biology, because it wasn't landing with him yet. All of these friends showed such a belief in what we were trying to do with the exchange and what we were trying to achieve. And they were joined on our advisory board by a number of scientific experts and media experts from all over. These Hollywood advisory board members have been integral in the development of the exchange and building our program and trying to make it more of a dialogue with science. It's not a lecture. We're not looking to bring scientists in to lecture to our writers and our directors. We want it to be a conversation, because it's a dialogue, and the scientists aren't going to come in and handcuff us and tell us what's right or what's wrong. They're going to share with us what's right, but they're not necessarily going to make us do it. And that's what the scientists want, is they want to be heard. And entertainment industry is finally ready to do that.